exercise regimen.
Yeah, anybody who's got the computer job, the desk job, they probably have the rounded shoulders, the forward head, all of that, the slouching. You've got to get up straight. Your ears and your shoulders are supposed to be lined up. You shouldn't be doing this. So your ears have to line up with your shoulders. It's almost like you want to feel like you're putting your shoulder blades into your back pocket. That's where you're supposed to be.
Wow.
So these muscles, these exercises will strengthen those muscles.
That's great, because I'm a big slouch myself, and so I could
change
use this.
that. And I was too, so, and I had lots of problems, and I'm doing much better since I've been doing these.
Good.
So I start with some small weights. These are 2 pounds. You keep your elbows locked, and you're going to kind of reach up towards the ceiling and drop your arms straight back down. It's a strange motion, but this helps to stabilize your shoulder blade against your rib cage. If you bend your elbows, then you're not doing the exercise properly. And if it's really wobbly and shaky, then you know you're weak. So
So a soup can's about 1 pound, you think?
yeah, a can of soup and 150 pennies is a pound. So if you have pennies, you can put them in a container, and there's your 1 pound weight.
Okay, cool.
Some people have to start with no weight. They're that weak, and it's shaking like crazy on the way down. It should be nice and controlled. So again, you can start with a couple sets of 10, work your way up to 3 sets of 10.
Excellent.
Then I take a stretchy band, and you're in the same starting position, and you go out to the side and go straight down. You keep your elbows locked the whole time, and this will help to start strengthening right between your shoulder blades. It's really not a hard exercise, so it's a good one to start with. And you can start with 2 sets of 10 and work your way up to 3, and slow it down if you want to get more out of it. And usually you're looking for things to be nice and smooth, no shakiness, no unsteadiness in your arms.
And then it's too tight if such is the case.
Yeah, or it's too
too
weak.
Oh, I'm sorry, your muscles are too weak.
Your
for
muscles are too
Yep.
weak, or it could be that the band is too tight, so then you
Okay.
could let some slack out, absolutely. Then I like to do some rotator cuff exercises, because the stronger your rotator cuff is, the better the whole shoulder complex works, and it takes some of the stress off your neck muscles.
Yeah, I think this probably could be really helpful, in particular my patients who have like numbness and tingling that's really not from the neck, but they all complain of like this radiculopathy-like symptoms, but
Yeah.
we never really find anything terrible in their necks.
Right.
And I always wondered if strengthening the shoulder would be a good idea for them.
Yeah, sometimes it just helps with the mechanics of the shoulder, which can affect the nerves and everything.
Yeah,
so-
because I think the brachial plexus kind of runs
Yeah.
right through the shoulder, and that's pretty much every nerve of your arm. So.
Right. So these are important. I like to take a towel roll, not too big, not too small, and you put it under your arm. It just helps to keep the shoulder in a neutral position. And with this exercise, you have to keep your arm lined up with your side. You don't want your arm forward like this. So your elbow is back. And then you can start with a small weight, and you can do some of these straight up, straight down. The whole time you're keeping your elbow bent 90 degrees. And in the beginning, maybe patients can only go this high. So the higher you go, you don't have to go higher if you can't do it. And I would start with no weights if somebody's really weak. Work your way up to 1, 2, maybe 3 pounds tops. It's a small muscle, so you don't want to lift 5 pounds, 10 pounds. That's way too heavy for
Which
this.
muscle are we working on here?
This is for rotator cuff.
Okay.
So that's a good one. And then I always have them also do in this position with your thumb turned up, your hand turned this way, and you go from your hip up to 90 degrees and then straight down. You want to control it in both directions, nice and slow. And this one you might be able to work up to, 3 to 5 pounds is plenty. Small muscles, so you don't need heavy weight. And you're looking more for repetitions anyways. So those are the 4 I like to start with, laying on the table. Then there's a few more things you can do. If you have a ball, you can do them this way. If not, you can do them, I'll show you both ways. You can do them off the edge of your bed. So if somebody has a lot of pain in their neck, they can start by resting their chin on the ball with your knees bent. That will help to support your head. If you get a lot stronger, you can go like into a plank position. So this is like more of a total body core exercise. And you can do arm raises 3 different ways. You go straight back. And really the emphasis is on squeezing your shoulder blades together. It's not about just lifting your arms up. It's more about a squeezing of your shoulder blades.
This is awesome. So you're actually, what you're going is you're going down the rotator cuff tendons, because you started off with the supraspinatus, right? And
Yeah.
now you're doing teres. Because
Well, you're getting some of that.
teres and subscapularis as you slide down the
Yeah,
rotator cuff. This is very good.
absolutely. Yep. I want to include everything that. Yep, absolutely. Most patients can probably do a pound or 2, but you might work up to 3 to 5 pounds with this. It just depends on the person. Then I like to do, so I call this one the letter I, because you're just in a straight line. Then I like to do like a reverse fly. I call this a W. If you can get your arms 90 degrees, your forearms parallel to the floor, that's the best position. But some people can't. They have to do it more like this. And then as they get stronger, they can add in a little bit more rotation. And they can do them this way. This gets harder. Again, you start with no weight. When 3 sets of 10 gets easy, then you can add a pound. And then the hardest one is out to the side, the letter T. So they're I's, W's, and T's. And again, it's all about the squeezing of your shoulder blade. It's not just a matter of lifting your arms up. You want to feel like you're pinching your shoulder blades together.
I think people have, when they have a lot of stress and they feel the muscles between the scapula and the shoulder blades, that's exactly where they have the stress. So that's exactly what the people should be doing to kind of get that stress out of their shoulder blades from being too rolled over the computer all day long.
Absolutely, and I feel like sometimes these muscles go into spasm because they're weak and they fatigue. And sometimes when people are sore, just doing this helps them feel better because you're getting the blood flowing through the muscle and it warms everything up. So even if somebody's sore, I still have them try to do it. It might make them feel better. If you don't have a ball, then you can do them off the edge of your bed, but you just have to do one arm at a time. You do the same thing. Just support either your chin or your forehead, whatever feels better for your neck. Most people would probably say this feels better. You can go straight up one arm at a time. Then you can do half of the W, and then you can also do this one. I've had people use like a hassock or a footrest too. They can kneel on the floor and just lay over it, and then you can do both arms at the same time.
Okay.
But having a ball is a nice thing. It's just that it takes up space.
Yeah.
Like where are you going to put it when you're not using it?
How much should they go for?
They are, depends on the size. Like the bigger ones are maybe like 30, 35 bucks. This size could be like 19 or 20. You can get them a lot cheaper at Ocean State, but the quality might not be as good. It might not last as long, and you got to have a pump. So you can get them on Amazon. And if you're sizing one for yourself, it needs to be. So if you were to sit on it, you need you're supposed to have your hips higher than your knees. So this ball is too small for me. My knees are higher. The right size for me would be like right about here. Or at least a 90-degree angle, but when I sit on this ball, now my hips are down, it's making me round my back, it's making me slouch. You want to be able to sit up tall, and this one's too small for me. So a lot of times it'll go by your height, it'll say 5'6" to 5'10", 55 centimeters, up to 5, I don't know the range, but it'll say sometimes right on the website, this is for this height. And these are great to have.
Awesome.
Simple tool that you probably would use for your back or your neck, or sometimes even just sit on it and watch TV and sit up straight. It makes you work your muscles while you're just watching TV.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of a, oh, there's one more thing too for the rotator cuff. I always throw in this one. So if you stand with your thumbs up, you go out to the side, but not straight to the side. You bring your arms in a little bit like a 30-degree angle. And right in this plane like this, you do arm raises just to 90 degrees. You don't go any higher than that. This isolates your supraspinatus, which is the most common tendonitis that people get in the rotator cuff. And the reason you do it at that angle is because that is the plane of your scapula. You're trying to stay in that plane. So it's about a 20 to 30 degree angle.
20 to 30 degrees forward?
Yes. So if
Can
this,
your shoulder, yep. Mhm.
if this is 0, right about here is about 20 to 30. So it's like, I always tell people, it's like making a wide V. If you're using 2 arms, it's like a wide V. Yeah.
Oh, but not too hard.
You only go to 90 degrees. After 90 degrees, now you're using upper traps and you're not isolating, and you may start impinging something. So I think those are my favorite upper back exercises and rotator cuff.
Carpal tunnel. Other than using the soup can and doing the wrist glides, is there really anything else?
I do that exact same shoulder workout for all my carpal tunnel patients, because if you don't have proximal stability, you're never going to have control of your wrist, and so you have to be strong in the middle before you can have strength out here at your hand. It's still okay to do the wrist exercises, absolutely, but if you weaken your rotator cuff and you're rounded and you're slouched, I mean, you're never going to get anywhere. You got to get back here.
That's a real pearl.
That's
a real pearl.
Yeah, you won't get far if you're just doing wrist stuff. You have to start at the middle and then work your way out.
So it's again core. Everything
is core. Everything. So
that's awesome, Joe.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's a lot that you can have people start playing with and just see. Some people obviously won't be able to do some of those things, but
yeah, we'll have to make sure we.
But that's a decent routine, and you always shoot for 3 times a week. Consistently to see changes in strength. If you're not doing it 3 times a week, then you're probably not going to see changes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope that helps.
That helps a lot.
Yeah.
Because I always suspected that we should be